Hey guys, and welcome to Escape the Echo Chamber with Neil's Cat and Ben and Sarah. And today we're at MON Turtle Rookery on the coast at Bundaberg, and we're going to go and check out the information centre. Chances of seeing turtles like during the day is very slim, and I don't even know if they've had any come up this season yet. But yeah, so on our way in the driveway there's this rock wall, and it's worth having a look at. So yeah, in Bundaberg there's there's a handful of these rock walls still left, and they're all called Kanaka rock walls, and they were hand built by South Sea Islanders who they called Kanakas, and they were like blackbirded and brought here on ships to work as slaves for the sugar industry. And then after like 1900 they changed the laws and everything, and they put them all back on the boat, like even like third and fourth generation Australians put them back on the boat and sent them back to Kanaka land, or wherever they come from, South Sea Islands. So yeah, it's like a really dark part of Bundaberg history. There's very like few memorials, signs, anything to tell you about it. You really have to go digging for it. Yeah, all these little Queensland towns have their dark history, and all their ancestors still like live in these little towns, and that's why
so they don't like you asking about it.
Yeah, it all kind of stays shoved under the carpet. Ain't a lot of wildlife in Bundaberg, but one of the things you will see a lot of is bearded dragons. Right, so the bush along the beach here is really nice. You can actually walk all the way from here to Burnett Heads and all the way back to Bargara, but if you do that, make sure you get back before 6 PM, because the park rangers won't let you walk through here, and they'll have a big dummy spit and try and make you walk 15 kilometres around the road. So yeah.
Oh, they did that to you once, didn't they?
Yeah. And so here's the amphitheatre. If you come to see the turtles, this is where you'll spend most of your time. You'll sit in here for about 8 hours until they're ready to go and show you some. And then you'll get to go down and watch the turtle lay its last 2 eggs before you go home. The information centre looks like it's completely closed today, which is really bad, because normally they have a chalkboard here that tells you how many turtles come up last night. And yeah, none tonight though. So we'll go down the beach and see if we can find a ranger or someone to ask. Alright, so this is MON Turtle Rookery. Sign says the beach is closed from the 15th of October. So I guess you never know, we could see turtles. There's a bunch of people down here looking around too, so that's pretty interesting. Right up the northern end up here, there is an awesome rock pool. We're not going to see it today. The waves are crashing over too much and it wouldn't be any good. But well worth a look. Back down this way is Bargara. But yeah, Burnett Heads and the rock pool up this end. Awesome, well worth a look. And here comes the COVID. Here a bit, they have like greenhouses up there on the beach, and like it's not to grow plants or nothing, like they're probably all stoners too, but it's actually for like moving the turtle eggs, and it's like protected from the high tide and the sun and whatever they need to be up there. Such a nice beach, especially when the tide's out or right up. It's to live about like 2 kilometres from the end of the beach there, and yeah, it was mad. I love it here. Out of the beach into the bush. I love this. It's like this little she oak forest runs along the dunes here. And like I said, there's a lot of birds. We just actually saw a little blue kingfisher. He was really cool, but he was too fast for us. And yeah, it's all good form tracks. It's concrete track all the way. You can go from like the port of Bundaberg and walk all the way down the coast, past Bargara a little bit. Look, there's a redback fairy wren. I'll come out from behind there. There he goes. Right, so welcome to Burnett Heads. This is the best little town on the coast in Bundaberg, and yeah, let's go and have a look around. Start with the mad little sign. This sign was here like when I moved to Burnett Heads. It was ancient then, and then yeah, someone spray painted this on it, and then it comes along every year and someone redoes it. And yeah,
it was like purple or something the first time I saw it, I thought.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so yeah, come and get your photo taken with the love each other sign. It's like a real highlight of Burnett Heads. Gotta love the old sign. Like if that was in your town, how long ago would teenagers have kicked it over and burn it? So down here is Oaks Beach, Burnett Heads. And yeah, all the locals like really take a lot of pride in this, and they come down and weed it and stuff and keep it pristine. So when the turtles come up and lay, it's all like pristine for them. And yeah, hopefully they're stopping all the tourists from just walking down here at night, because there's like no restrictions or control on this beach. So people just come down, march all up and down it and scare all the turtles off, which are kind of for everyone. So hopefully they fix that. And yeah, we may see if we can come down and see one. It's a bit early in the season still though. But yeah, if we don't see one now, we'll come back in middle of summer and we'll definitely see one then. So if you come down over here, behind these signs there's a couple of little rock pools at low tide. And it's one of the easiest places where you can come and see coral and little reef fish and stuff. Right there. Something else cool about this spot, I was sitting here with my dog Zed, who like passed away a couple months ago, and we're sitting there just chilling out, and this bloke and his mate rocked up with like a red mullet, and they sat down here and started eating their KFC, and they got up, and I'm thinking, man, that's the guy from the chats that sings that Smoko song. So and like I yelled out, I'm like, oi mate, are you that guy from the chats? And he's like, nah, yeah, nah, and I'm like, what? Like, what? And they just walked off, and then they jumped in their car, and then they all hung out the window and went, yeah, as they drove up the road here. So like, yeah, that was cool, lads. If you know the chats, tell them I said hi. I was going to go and show you the rock pools, but like I'll get wet from the splash of the waves and that if I go over there, but like that's it over there. It's too windy to want to get wet today. So much stuff I could show you here, but I don't like making hour-long videos, so we're just going to go now and I'm going to show you the oldest tree in Bundaberg. Right, so we're on our way from beach side of Burnett Heads to port side of Burnett Heads to see this tree. But yeah, we had to stop at Tyrone's at the servo, and yeah, if you don't know, Tyrone's always got the cheapest fuel, and he's the maddest little white kid, so come and help him out. And yeah, while we're here though, back like about 10 years ago when we had one of the big cyclones come up, there was tornadoes rolled in off the coast, and they wiped out all these houses here and come off the beach, up here, through here, and then they kept going up this way, and it took out all the shop here and everything. But what's really cool is old mate here had an auto bin smashed into his tree, and he left it there, and here it is still today. So yeah, I love that. When it was first in there, this tree wasn't that big, and it got smashed over and all the top was snapped off it, so it was only like a stump about this high with the auto bin smashed in there. And yeah, now she's a nice big tree again with the auto bin smashed in there. Alright guys, so we've gone down past the shops and past the harbour, past the river mouth, the creek mouth, then the port, then the sugar shed. There was actually a ship in loading, so we might go back and get a bit of footage of that, but it's not what I want to see. I wanted to come down and see this because it's actually been declared like a special, what do they call it? Like some special development zone for the port by the state government. And yeah, all this bush behind me here is all up for being demolished and turned into shipping container housing. So, but yeah, so right behind me here is the oldest tree in Bundaberg. Now, you can't really see it, but that's it. Let's go have a look. So yeah, this is just off the Port Road. I think it's opposite the entrance to Strathdees Road where the boat club is. And there's a giant Moreton Bay fig in here. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a bit of a hill here. All this is the root mound all going up to it. And then the tree itself is up here. It's really hard to get at because it's all so overgrown. And yeah, she's a beast. Let's get in there. Right, so the track in isn't very fun. You can see a lot of people have been up here walking around the base. I know Landcare comes in here and checks on it every now and then and stuff. They're the ones that are really pushing to save it. But it's really hard to come in and see. See the thorns on these? They just like grab you. I'm guessing these are probably the wait a while vines. Yeah, get through them. And here we go. Here is the big tree. And they reckon like these are the roots. That's a root, that's a root, that's a root. Like These are all roots. The main bit of the trunk is that bit in there. And yeah, it's all spread out everywhere. So they estimate it's between like 400 and 500 years old, this old beast. And there's a couple of other big trees in here as well that I would also like to go and have a look at before State Co decides to come and bulldoze them. Right, so the next lot of trees I want to see, they're up here, which is only a little bit up the road. And just ignore that sign and this fence. The only reason they're even here is because people were coming in here and cutting down the firewood and then selling it in bags. So like I got on the land care and the Port Authority and told them and said like, this is shit. Like, and yeah, so they put up a fence for me. How mad's that? So it took a bit of finding. Everything's like really grown over since people stopped driving their cars and trailers in here to cut down the trees. But yeah, I found it. So there's this big tree here. Like, it's not massively impressive, but like, if you know anything about trees in Bundaberg, like, this is a monster. I really don't think there would be a bigger, like, trunk tree like this in Bundaberg. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Tuck Sarah in front of it for a bit of scale. Like I said, it's not a monster, but it's definitely bigger than any other tree that you will find around Bundaberg, because yeah, the farmers know how to cut them down. And I just turned around and look who's standing here. Oh, he's big too. Hey, look at him looking at me. And cool, figs like strangled this other tree. He's a mad tree. Oh man, I'm sick of walking into spiders' webs. I've cleaned up about 20 around my face. And like, look at it. They're not little like friendly looking spiders either. Here's another really big boy. It's not, no monster, none of them are monsters in here because everything was cut down. So these are probably like 180 years old at the best. Alright, so I could see this massive fig from back in the distance, so I thought I'd try and get in here. And I did. I got underneath him and it was a real mission. Check this out. Like, that's where I come through down there. But like, it's just the thickest tangle under here. It's a bit of a clearing like actually underneath the tree. But yeah, this must be pretty old too, because like, they date them with these roots. And some of these roots are epic. They're coming down from so high. Yeah, it's an epic tree in there. Such a pity. None of this deserves to get destroyed. It should all be protected. Like, this would make a sick conservation park, just with some tracks and a couple of signs telling you what the trees are and things. And yeah, it'd be epic if you didn't just have to like push through the kangaroo tracks. Look, here's another one just here as well. Like, there's hardly anywhere in Bundaberg you can go and see these, especially like actual ones in the forest somewhere that are grown naturally. So yeah, definitely turn this into a conservation park, not a shipping container house. I wore a best bushwalking clothes. I'm like on the way out and then I spot this monster fig. This one is pretty big too, eh? Like, there must be a few trees in here that are in like the 400 to 500 year old range. And you can't even move around the base of this one. It's so overgrown with stuff. In there you can see the tree that like the fig actually like grew around back in the day. And well, that must have been a big tree too. And yeah, she's dead now. You can still see bits of it in there. Wow, what a beast. Yeah, that's about it for here. That's probably going to be about it for Bundaberg. Like, I could make like hours and hours and hours of videos about Bundaberg, but not a lot of it interests me that much anymore. But yeah, I love Burnett Heads. Yeah, come and see Burnett Heads, and if you're going to move to Bundaberg or anything, come and move to Burnett Heads. It's an awesome place. Best little community that you could hope for. And yeah, we will see you next time.